peace, power, and love sent from above, the divine art of everything in existence to us here in this realm and dimension. Humam Abdulmalik, once again before the sunrise, with Blackanized international Nubian consciousness, conscious chess moves. In a moment of reality, in a moment of contemplation, in a moment of articulation, to motivate, stimulate, and instigate into another state of mind, of reality that has us been living behind the 8 ball, I can say, because of the way we allow things to go and don't, administer our true reality. Because we don't deal with our divine nature, which we got to do. We deal with the aspect of the situation of social engineering from people that makes you, or they hate you and make us hate ourselves. And I say the hate because of the things we do to each other. Those of us who do, we need to come out of that state of mind and find harmony and peace within our existence and share that harmony and peace as a people and demonstrate harmony and peace in our everyday affairs with each other and come out of the stupor, come out of the intoxication, come out of the medicated hurt feelings and all of that we have developed from our actions of life. I just want to go over things like simple things, simplicity and natural things that we can do that's not hard for us to do. All we have to do is open ourselves up to the vibrations and energy of divine frequencies and understand that it's just a natural process that we can do if we just allow ourselves to be filled with joy and peace and come out of the thinking that have us acting like animals and predators among each other, become disciplined and develop self-control over the actions that we have with each other and the things that we do, from the elementary things of eating and thinking, reading, looking at stuff, everyday things that we just haphazardly go through without even giving it any consideration of the effect that it has upon our spirit, our mind, or our souls. Because we keep going through this dilemma of the social engineering that is upon us and that's been upon us, and generation after generation. One aspect of that is like today is it's an unholy, hollow day, supposed to be a holiday. Supposed to be the President's Day. I think the old guy, what is his name, George Washington, as I was saying the other night, this most honorable Mr., he caught pneumonia in the slave quarters while raping your sister. But if you know your correct history, you know that they have lied. They talk about in history that he didn't lie, that he told the truth about cutting down the The cherry tree, is that important? When this man was a slave owner, that this man raped our ancestors, our great, 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 great grandparents. And that's what he do, and they call him the founding father of this country. 1776, when they established this this Constitution and all that, and it got worse ever since. I mean, that's what we do. We celebrate these particular days to run to the store to spend the money that we made for sales of contraptions because we become consumers. That's how we perpetrate this system. We're consumers instead of producers. We allow the commercialized lies to influence us subliminally and direct us to spend our money. We don't know that sometimes we be looking at that, what they call it, stupid tube or television, tell you what to do through vision by you looking at it. But it's deeper still now because they be looking back at you. Yeah, that digital TV, they can look at you also. So they watching you. But anyway, I just want us to be informed of what we be doing and why we be doing it. It's part of this social engineering, part of the social narcotics, part of us being programmed to be susceptible to everything or anything that these people promote. When I say these people, I'm talking about a system. When I'm talking about we at war with a system, a mentality, a spirit, principalities in high places, as it said. And the high places is the most corrupt, as we can see today in Donald Duck. I don't like calling the name, and I don't like saying very negative, vulgar things, but what you see on their TV, what they say about this guy that's in position of leadership. I know I've been through what was the president? Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, who else? The Bushes, who else? Obama. I've been through about 10, at least 7 or 8 presidents. In my being here in this realm, in this paradigm, I have never seen anything or heard anything like what's going on now. Even though they're on the same team and promote the same thing, because it's a system. This guy is like, he's over the barrel. He's went across past the forbidden zone. And it seems like he's doing this on his own. He's just doing the bidding of those above him because they're trying to get the next phase of the New World Order. That's their objective. But they got a foolish guy in there. No political astuteness, nothing. But he's not our problem. He's problematic for the whole country. Our problem is ourselves. So in this day and time, we should take out the time to really go into ourselves and unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure around the country. I was looking at a little news clip about the brothers up in Chicago. And it's no different from those brothers, the brothers anywhere in the country that those young soldiers, and they always come up with that word that I do it because I got to eat. I do it because I got to feed my children and all that. and protection and stuff like that, going to school and stuff like that to protect one another, and then it expands from that and escalate till they become predators and animalistic in their nature. But through love, for them to say, I need to get the money to feed my children, that's a love. That's trying to be responsible for their children. So if we develop something in place of that type of mentality, or have something in place where they don't have to pick up the gun, they can pick up a skill, they can pick up a book, but we got to have that in place so we can develop our young warriors into earning a legit earnings or way of life, and become the businessmen and entrepreneurs on the other side of things, so they won't have to be into that situational dilemma of attacking one another because of one street corner, and then they know each other. That's all over the country, and here in D.C., California, New York, wherever, Louisiana, wherever, South Carolina, North Carolina, wherever we at on this planet, in this country, and on other continents having the same problem, but it ain't being spoke about. And not only in our ethnic group, it's in every ethnic group, but they try to promote us more to show the world that we are a people that don't have no discipline, no aspiration. We're just animalistic and predators, and that we hurt each other. But it's all by design, because of who we are as a people. We're not what they say we are. We just only doing what we've been programmed to do. What they put in our community, in the drugs and the guns and the alcohol on every corner in our community. But we can't blame them. We have to look in the mirror at ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we doing in our community to better our community and better ourselves? And it's on us, each individual, each one of us. If we stay in the stupor of polluting our temples and not having discipline or self-control, then we'll be easily manipulated as a people and keep going down this road of disunity and self-destruction, self-inflicted genocide, manticide, and all that, with our females getting killed and all that. It's all geared at destruction, or keeping us disunified, not waking up, not becoming divinely inspired, not becoming unified and organized as social entities that develop our community so that we can get back once again into the environment of development, where we have our own stores and own institutions, so that we can teach our children about who they are, so that they can understand that of their culture, understand their identity of who they are, the great people that they are, and stop being programmed that we are slaves or subservient to the European, because it's being programmed in every aspect of our being. And then when our success is what they show us is through drug selling or through the broken family and this is being deceptive and all that. That's what they program in us through the programs of TV and all that. The thing we so caught up on, like Empire and all that type of stuff. It shows success, but what type of success does it show? And how do you get to that success? By deceit, by lying to each other, and broken families and homosexuality and all that. We go against nature. We go against our own nature that we're programmed to do. Yesterday, I visited an oracle shaman that I know, and she had stepped out the room, right? So I went in a little bag of cards, and I picked out a card. And the card, paraphrasing, it said that I was a very intelligent person in my family line, that I'll be able to influence people and to uplift people, things of that nature. And the two words was affluence and effect. So I was looking at that and I was saying affluence and effect. Effect of the influence or influence of the effect. And I was saying that perhaps that may be so because of who I am and what I am in my family tree and lineage or language, to speak the truth, to speak what I know that is instilled in me from my ancestors by divine decree. They also said that, when I be on the show, on this program here, that I be talking and reiterating same subject matter or being redundant. And I looked and I reflected upon that. And then I said, we have to go over things in order to get things really where they are felt and started to be acted upon, even within myself. I do repetitious things around the house and in my life, and when I see somebody, everybody I see, I have a pleasant disposition because I'm trying to open the door of communication. A smile to anybody and every day is a great charity. To speak and be polite is a great charity. I believe that this comes from my upbringing of my parents that instilled that mannerism in me in the way I am. But I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to share that my purpose in life is to promote peace, love, and understanding among us, to promote healing among us as a people, among our youth, our elders, and the middle age among us. And not just here. I start with myself, this community, but as the vibrations, frequencies, and energy is like a ripple effect. It just goes out in waves. So that's why this instrument here, this program, my television program or audio vision, is a good program for me to communicate. And not only to be seen locally, but universally or internationally. Not me to be ego tripping or being self-centered or arrogant. It ain't about me, it's about us. It's not with ulterior motives, and I don't try to be one to plagiarize anything, and I don't be deceptive. I be real. I be what I feel, what I know, information that that's instilled in me, to articulate it and speak it in a way that is very plain and simplistic, so that I can reach us, so that I can reach myself to be an example of what I'm talking about taking over our community in a way that we develop our community in a harmonious way to help our young brothers and warriors that's on the street corner that say they doing it because they got to feed our family. How many of us that's in a affluent position to open up jobs, to open up rec centers, and go out and reach our youth, man? because it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic episode in our life in this day and time, where they keep controlling our mind to the point that we become self-destructive. And it's all right, because we can talk about, did you see that and did you hear that? But when it strikes home, then, man, it's a hurting feeling. It's truly a hurting feeling. So if we do something about that to change the environment, change the atmosphere of this animalistic, corrupt energy that's out there, and let's build. Let's come together and build. Let's hold everybody accountable. You know, let's hold those multi-millionaires of our persuasion, you know, like the Oprahs, the Tyler Perrys, the Mayweathers, and everybody with a financial foundation under them, that it won't hurt them. And I know they be helping people, but the small, minute people is like, it can do better. We have to build institutions. We have to build foundations of institutions. We got to put back in our communities rec centers, and we got to take control of the airwaves of what we look at. We got to get stations that we can program ourselves into a harmonious spiritual aspect of ourselves and African spirituality. If we don't, there'll be a finality for our culture and for our spiritual being. And we got to come out of the masjids and the churches and the synagogues, those of us as human beings or melanated people, and uplift our people, man. Go into the trenches and talk to our young youth. Why do we have to have news people go in there and talk to get a report to what's going on, when we right there with our youth, with our young adults, when they live next door to us or maybe in the house with us? We got to unify and come together and stop this madness, stop this insanity among us. Because the madness and insanity at the top is going to affect us already. So we in the communities have to unify, organize, and come together to deal with that effect of that madness and that insanity. So let's rid ourselves of personal insanity and madness and come together in love, peace, and harmony, so that we can be ready for this tidal wave or whatever might come down from it. From this, what would we call it? Isami, what's the word? Yeah, I guess it's that word. Excuse me, my vocabulary missing a letter, so I am not pronouncing the word correct. Asami, Tasami, whatever the word is. I'm talking about a tidal wave of some effects that's going to have an effect upon the community. There's already we doing something in our community of negative quality that's affecting us. But when a effect that's going to come from above to come down, like anarchy or police state or something like that, or just do anything like outside the country's doing something, you know, and messing with our electric grid and all the lights are gone out. Are we ready to come together and survive together, or are we going to run chaotic and be confused and just go out because the lights go out? We're going to start running in stores and taking stuff and all that. That is chaotic and confused. We don't need to do that. We need to be organized, and whatever we do it together, not chaotic. You can't do that. We got to be unified in our effort. Tsunami. Yeah, that's the word right there, tsunami. I was saying it right. That comes and affects us, a political tsunami. But anyway, I just want to be at peace and allow us or say words for us to stimulate each other and motivate each other, cultivate each other into a world of peace and love for each other. As our young brothers and sisters grow into the next generation of leaders, they need our support. Even the brothers that's caught up in animalistic predator type mentality, they need our support. They need our help. They don't want to be out there. You know, they think it's some quick money, cool money, and, you know, the girls like them and all that. But we have to change that dilemma in our community. We got to reach them so they'll change their mind. We got to show them a way that they can do the same thing, but on a more positive level, a more spiritual, divine level. That will be more helpful for them and their families to uplift them politically, mentally, and spiritually. Politically, I mean, that encompasses everything in our community. You know, we got to change our eating habits. We got to do everything that's going to uplift us as human beings, spiritual beings, divine beings. And we can do this. And we just got to change the language, change our thinking. It's one mind at a time. It's one mind at a time. And it's a divine change that we have to go through, because it's already in us, in our DNA, in the universe, that will have an effect upon the universe. We got to reflect upon who we are first. We have to do this yesterday, because the tsunami is right upon us. It's coming. If it don't come, it'll be a blessing. And I'm looking for the blessing. I don't want it to occur. I don't want this asinine situation that's at the top to really have a profound effect upon us. I would like to see it change at the top. But I think it's still going to somehow or other be promoted by these people because they want the New World Order. Whoever is in that office on the seat of the emperor, because it's under Roman law, that hasn't changed. We have to be prepared. We have to be prepared, and we got to make preparation for ourselves. And we should demand reparation so we can step off and be economically level, on an economical level playing field. We need to get some land to grow our food. We need to develop institutional educational centers that deal with our culture. We need to buy up some airways or radio stations so we can influence the music that we listen to and what we hear over the airways. We need to buy television studios so we can program what we see and listen to that way. And also movie industry, we need to get those too. So that has an influence upon us as a people. We have to counter everything that's in this system, in this political realm, so that we can be more prolific in our living, in our producing, and being the people that we need to be, producers and not consumers. Everything that's created, we just running by it up. We have a 1-bedroom apartment or whatever. We got a 55-inch TV in there, woofers and what they call them things, surround sounds and everything. I mean, does it make sense? We got to make sense. Keep our dollars and currency within our hands and stuff like that. Well, let's have influence upon our environment so that we can have a profound effect in our environment. You know, let's be the cause of a positive effect in our community, in our environment. And let's stop practicing these hollow days, and let's establish our own days of holy days, of recognition of who we are and where we come from. And whatever they do or say, they don't validate us. Their validation or anything of us is not so, because it's distorted. They lie about everything. His lies become their story, not our story. We have to realize that our story is much greater, because we establish everything on this planet Earth, because we are the original people. We have to realize that. We have to let our children know, our very intelligent children, the next generation of leaders. That's why we have to establish an infrastructure. That's why we have to establish businesses. That's why we got to do it. For our seeds, for our next generation of children, of leaders, and their children. And their children. We can't let this tsunami of political intolerance, of political deceptive ideology, alternative fact-type mentality or system that is based on deception. It's based on hypocrisy, because that's the game that they play. It's a playground of deceptiveness. It's like the Roman culture for the Senate. What they want is just look up the Roman culture and just go back in that history, or go back in the Greek history, or go back in the Jewish history. Then you can see what's before us. And we got to read. I keep mentioning the book, The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Just pull it up. I keep mentioning Cabal States, C-A-B-A-L. Just look it up. Get the definition of it, so you'll have insight of what I'm talking about, for those of us that don't know the terms or whatever. And the ones that know the terms, we got to educate and stimulate and motivate. We got to be the light bearers that our ancestors want us to be. And there go that light again. It's shining. You see that light that's coming across my head? Why is it shining like that? I just be in speculation. But I say that's energy. It's pointing away the energy, synergy, divine energy. Or it's a reflection upon something. It's a reflection upon me. It's a reflection on me, upon me. That's a good saying. But anyway, without any egotistical, arrogant, or self-centered dispositions, or without any ulterior motives, freely, spiritually, divinely, on the pathway of my ancestors, of our ancestors, I want to speak into this reality, the truth that's in me, from my universe, to be one of those that be a servant to the Creator, to the universal divine energy, to serve the people. By serving this energy of what we call God, I serve the people, and I live for this. I commit myself to this, and I proclaim this, to be one of those that help in the development of this political gem from our minds. See, a mind is where all the gems at and all that. We just got to dig into the minds and take out those things that's good, those things that's expensive in thoughts and molding and shaping, so that we can come together and uplift our people, touch their mind and touch their heart with some love and peace and understanding of who we are as a people. That's all we got to do, is reach out to our people. And those that are flowing among us, establish what we need so we can deal with our needs and not our wants. See, they manipulate our wants. But if we establish our needs, we will overcome the wants, and we'll overcome their mass mind brainwashing, or mass mind trickery that they use against us through the master of the frequencies that they have mastered. And all that they took our power and our understanding of ourselves and turn it over to their benefit. That's why we must wake up and go back to study the arcane esoteric knowledge. And it's not secret. It's knowledge of healing ourselves. We got to be culturally and spiritually inclined to our African spirituality. And again, whatever religion or way of life that we practice, if it don't bring us together, then it ain't so. It should not be practiced, I say, because all energy of the Creator brings us together in unity. It brings us together in unity, unless we on an animalistic level, then we do what we do. But as human beings, it should bring us together. I know we do a lot of stuff and have done a lot of stuff, but it always be from the leadership, and it be from the criminal element or the predatory element, I'll say it that way. But I can use the word criminal because criminality comes from the top and is breeded and is promoted so they can keep their game going, keep their fraudulent laws intact, like the 13th Amendment. Make that a fact that, they said Emancipation Proclamation and all that. But then they came back within that to give us an amendment. The amendment supposedly took us away or out of that. But then they reversed that same amendment and say that is a fact, that you can be a slave in this society. But they did away with slavery. But if you commit a crime and duly convicted, that's where you can become a slave and indentured servant. And that's a fact. And so we have to not get tripped up, not play their game. Let's just be affluent in what we do. We may not be on a certain level, but just let us be content and let us be in happiness and in love and peace, so that we don't have to be caught up in their trickery. Let's show ourselves, not show nobody else. It's time for us to show some love and discipline within our community and protect our community, because we're under attack. We're definitely under attack. There's a silent war going on to promote self-destructive behavior in our community. But let's overcome that. Only way we'll overcome that is through love, peace, and understanding that we promote amongst each other. Let's live this. Let's promote this. Let's speak it into being. Let's develop it and not act it. Let's do it. Let's be proactive in it. There's a lot of things going on that's supposed to be geared towards that and stopping the violence in our community. But we the only one can stop the violence by going out and reaching out to our young warriors. They are warriors. They are leaders. But they need to be reprogrammed. They need to see who they are. They need to see that divine energy and take a grasp of it. They don't have to become a victim of somebody in their circle to become a victim, of their own indiscretions or activities. Because it's too late then. We got to stop it. I mean, we're behind the 8 ball, but we got to come from behind it. We got to develop a foundation for us to reach our youth. We got to allow them to develop their own feeling, drop a seed that will motivate them to look in that mirror and reflect and ask themselves, why? Why am I doing this? Why would I easily pull that trigger on my brother or my sister or accidentally somebody else just by pulling the trigger? And most words like is, I got to put food on my table. I got to eat. But you can do all that and you don't have to do it from the perspective of doing things in the street. You got to eat, but you willing to harm other people to eat. It can't be like that. We got to eat, but we can eat a square meal and be doing it in a way that we be getting that meal, but we got to be patient. And sometimes you don't have the freedom to do what you do when you can do what you do when you ain't doing nothing but doing that. In order to feed, or you got to eat, you got to be unique at doing this. You got to be at peace and in love and harmony and unified and working together. It can happen. I ain't saying, you just got to stop killing each other, because there's a war going on that we might have to defend ourselves or whatever, but not against ourselves. We shouldn't be at war with ourselves. We should be in harmony and peace with ourselves. We should be united with ourselves in our communities, starting with ourselves and then our community. We should be interconnected, coming together. They keep saying that we can't come there. Niggas ain't going to do this, or them niggas ain't going to do that, and this and that. We can't do that because we all that. If you keep saying that to yourself, you won't be able to do it, because you're programming yourself. You're programming yourself from being programmed from the system that don't want us to do that. They don't want us to unify. They want to keep feeding us this lie that we can't. We can do anything that we want to do, because that's what we do. We do what we want to do as individuals. Now we must do it collectively, from a spiritual point of view, from an economical point of view, from a cultural point of view. And every day, all throughout the day, ambulance. Here it is, almost going on 6 o'clock in the morning. Ambulance, a police car. Why, man? Why in our community all day long? It ain't no game. This is a reality. This ain't no reality show. This is reality. This is our lives that we live in. This is our children's lives, our grandmothers and grandparents' lives. We've got to realize that we got to be protectors of our next generation. We got to make it peaceful and harmonious for our elders who lived their lives, who directed us. We got to promote the stability in our communities that our ancestors died for, to establish a system of peace and harmony. I'm not saying that our ancestors died for the right for us to develop this system that we're in. I'm saying that our ancestors fought for us to still be here, to establish a system for ourselves. Because they know how this system is. They knew how this system is. They know it's corrupt. They know that it's part of hypocrisy. But some people say we have to be at the table, again, to get something to eat, and not the crumbs. But if we establish our own system, then we ain't got to depend on them or this system. We can't do it, because what they did is took our system of everything and turned it around. It took time, but it's established. And all we got to do is be mindful of who we are and not depend upon them. And I know they make the money, they the Federal Reserve and this and that, but they got fraudulent money or fiat money that doesn't have any mineral to back it up, like gold or silver in the United States. This currency doesn't have anything to back it up. We are the true currency. We are the true asset to keep this system moving, perpetrating the concept of what it does, capitalism and all that. But if we control our capital, control us as an asset, they will be hurting. That's what we got to do on a unified effort as humanity. I keep saying we got to heal first. We got to clean our backyard, and then we can be in this collective outside of our house. But let's clean up our block first. And I say this earnestly as a human being with no ulterior motives, not as a celebrity, not nothing. I don't deal with the politics in the sense that I'm a patriot or politician or anything like that, or have a particular party. My party is universality and spirituality. My party is us as a people. I love my people. I love myself first and foremost, and I love the Creator and our ancestors. I love our family, our village. I love sincerely us as a people. Through the foundation of what transpired in our story, not the captivity and all that, but that's part of it. But I know that we are not slaves. We are natural human beings that were caught up in captivity and stuff like that. The only way you can be a slave, or only way is that you allow other people, you allow it in your mind, you allow people to validate you. That story of slavery is not my story, because I've never been a slave nor a nigger. I'm a niggus, a pharaoh. I'm everything that they say I'm not. I'm everything that they left out of the story. I'm everything before 2017. I'm everything in that. But more so, everything that they say I'm not. Everything that I found out or find out of our story, I am. I am the greatest upon this planet. Not just me per se, but the energy, the universal energy in my culture is the greatest upon this planet. There's nothing greater than I that comes to the we, and there's definitely nothing greater than our sisters. The matriarchic power when my I was in balance, and that we had harmony and peace on the planet. Nothing greater than our sisters. Nothing. The mothers of the universe, where all life come out. We got to overcome the fallacies and the lies that they taught us, that our women were the creators of the first sin. Our women are the creators of the light and knowledge and intelligence and purpose. Our women are the first teachers. Through our women came life. Through the canal of life we came out of. So we must hold our women in high esteem and pay much homage and due respect for them, because we allow these what should I say? These predators, these monsters, to inflict such affliction upon our women upon this planet Earth is unheard of. And we can't forget that. We can't forget the rapes, the lynchings, none of that. It was uncalled for. But they tried to break our spirit, and steal our culture, and steal everything, and make us into something they wanted us to be. That's fearful and susceptible to anything they might want to do to us. And we went through a lot of that as a people. And a lot of us didn't. They don't tell us the history about those Seminole Indians or other people that fought against them, like the Maroons all around in the West Indies and on the South America continent and all that. They always try to teach you about being passive and permissive, but we're not that away. Once we organize and collect our identities and our true spiritual being, we'll show them our power, a collective way. We get back to our greatness. They talking about taking America back to when it's great. They taking it back to us. They opening the door for that energy, like that light you see right there that's coming down. That's energy. That's energy that we got to get in tune to naturally. And once it happened, then we back where we supposed to be. So, with that, I say, Ashe, Hotep, Assalamu alaikum, peace, peace, shalom. Everything to bring us together as one in unity. No matter what door we come out of or go into, we going in and out of a universal door. There's only one energy, one source of energy. There's not many gods or creations. It's one unified creation. It's unified and is under one divine essence and source that we have to connect into no matter what door we go into of these man-made or these institutions of religion. They should lead us to come together, not separate us, not to be at war with each other. We need to come together as humanity, as melanated people, and really only to defend ourselves. But we know that there's a silent war that's being waged upon us every day we wake up and go to sleep. And we know that the source of this war, where it's coming from the mentality, spirit of a certain group of people, is using their people also, and using our people, using every person around the planet or on the planet to become what? They deal with them as though they're robots and have everybody coming from being patriotic or whatever. You know, we got to study history and understand as one army catches another army, they incorporate those people into the army. It's through a simulation that we be caught up into this vacuum of deception. We must come out of it and deal with us as a people, us culturally and spiritually as a people. And I want to leave us with this. Let's use our influence to influence us to righteousness. Let's use our influence to influence love and peace. Let's be effective in that influence to have an effect upon our communities. Let's do this effectively. And we hear the young warriors calling out. They say, we ain't got nothing to do, but we trying to eat. We ain't got nowhere to go. And the people, if we come together and build that foundations of what we know we need, not what we want. Let's put our money into what we need as a people. Then if we have this foundation and we have all these things in place, then there's no excuse. Then we move forward with our agenda of establishing our divine spiritual nature in our culture. And those who are with us are with us. Those who are not are not. And that's what it's going to be or how it's going to be anyway. Because everybody is not going to be with us. Some people are going to stand on the outside or be straddling the fence. You can't straddle the fence because the gap is going to be wide. It's going to be righteousness and it's going to be unrighteous. It's going to clash. How do we clash? Naturally, divinely, spiritually, or physically. It's going to happen. The separation has got to occur one way or the other. They're trying to prophesize something that's been prophesied, and they are the writers of this thing, right? And then they also push it and promote it generation after generation through their bloodlines to keep it going, to get to a point where they're trying to get to. Realize that. Realize what is going on is orchestrated and promoted by these people generation after generation after generation after generation. So we got to better our relations among each other. So I want to say peace, power, and love, a universal love. Let's develop. Let's discourage our people from doing this negative activities in our community. We need to go in there and talk to our brothers, sisters, and promote unity. Let's do this yesterday, Because today is a brand new day. It's the only way that we can do it is it get done by us. People want to, I'll talk about that later. We have workshops, we have activities. Seems as though we got even the police coming together in our communities, playing games. But we can't forget there's still the slave catchers. Because if you commit a crime, it's their job to catch you. And you go to court in that system, you're going to be, if you get convicted, you'll be a slave. Got to realize that. So then we got to realize, let's stop committing crimes in our community. Let's take away that element of the slave catcher coming in our community. And then it'd be no need for them to be in our community because we got our community under control. Because we're people with soul. Until tomorrow, or if the Lord gives me that breath of life, I'll see you tomorrow. In love and peace and understanding of the universe to have an effect and influence upon the universe. Peace.